I want to ask you a little bit about your stint at CNN. You were probably the most prominent, most vocal person that raised the issue of porous borders, of illegal immigration, of the cost of illegals, I think before anybody else did. And I just can't imagine if today you applied at CNN with your same set of views, and you had the same set of views then, how your career would have evolved.
It would have been a very short one. I can just see me knocking on the door to talk with Jeff Zucker, saying I'd love to join this little band of propagandists you've assembled over here. I've got a different view. No, I was fortunate enough to be amongst those who founded the network and built it, and it changed around me. I became such an irritant that the result was already written in the wind. I was just as critical of George W. Bush as I was of Barack Obama.
Oh, I know you were.
But they had another agenda, and it was not a time for truth-telling. It was a time for, taking a company view that was, pro left-wing, and you see what the result is. I left the network in 2009, and what it's become, it was unimaginable when we began that network.
My guest is Lou Dobbs, as if you didn't recognize that distinctive voice. The book is called The Trump Century. Lou, why do you call it the Trump Century?
Because I really believe that this president has achieved so much, Larry, and you and I've talked a bit about this. He has done more than any president in his first term in reversing the decline of the nation, in setting on a course with the largest economy, the fastest growing number of jobs, bringing back manufacturing, curtailing the outsourcing of jobs, speaking up for the forgotten man and woman, that is the American worker, and their families. Whether it's foreign policy, domestic policy, he has done it all and done it correctly. And gets almost no credit from the left-wing national media, as you know. And he has so influenced our judiciary with conservative judges. He has so influenced the establishment, and by that I mean disrupted the orthodoxies, that they can't repair this for some time to come. And I am also predicating much of it on the fact I believe he will win re-election. And the great disruptor will be building even a greater record as president. He's historic now, and it's just going to get better and better for the country.
And Lou, he's done all of this against the most ferocious resistance I have ever seen. 25% of Democrats boycotted his inaugural. Several of them never went to any of his State of the Union speeches, including John Lewis. And then, as you know, 2.5-year collusion investigation and impeachment. They had to put his doctor on because a bunch of lefties were yelling about the 25th Amendment, claiming that he was mentally unfit to be president. I mean, my goodness, and the man is still standing, and his numbers are probably about the best that they've been of his presidency so far.
Exactly right, as usual, Larry. The standing this man has amongst Republicans is unprecedented. Not even Ronald Reagan had a 96% approval rating among Republicans. This president does, because Republicans know what he's done. They've known what he's had to resist and overcome, and he's not only done that, he's not only persevered, he has succeeded on every single initiative that he's undertaken, even building the wall. He's got just about 300 miles of it built and rebuilt. This is a president who, in almost uncanny ways, manages to get done whatever he promises. And there are very few exceptions, and frankly, I can't think of a one that he has failed to at least make a major installment on, if not fully fulfilled.
The book is called The Trump Century, How Our President Changed the Course of History Forever. It's written by my guest, Lou Dobbs. Lou, in your book, you talk a lot about immigration, and you say that the government does not have accurate numbers on how many illegal aliens are here in the country.
No. We've this has been the subject of some considerable study at among other places, Harvard, Yale. We know the number is somewhere around illegal immigrants, somewhere around 30 million. And that according to a Yale study that was done just a few years ago. The number is vast, and people still keep using this. They keep using this number.
11 million.
11 million illegal immigrants. We were using that number 20 years ago, Larry, that there were 11 million illegal immigrants. We have such poor knowledge of who is a citizen and who is not. Because our federal law prescribes sharing Social Security information and tax identification, and they have to be. We could solve this in a very quick order if we could merge those two files for individuals, but by regulation and law, we're not permitted to. And now the census won't even permit census takers to ask the question: are you a citizen?